Hey guys, Kenny here, Ken Small Engines. We have with us here a Generac XG7000E, E for electric start. The XG model has all these covers on it, which I don't particularly care for because it takes a while to take them all off to get to anything. Well, this one here, the customer complained he always had to have the choke on while it was running. So I took the carburetor off, cleaned it out. It was just the main jet, had some jelly in it and stuff, so that was pretty easy. And you see that on some of my other videos, cleaning out these carburetors. But I also said to him, if you notice, it's electric start. So you put it to the on position, then you hit start, and well, nothing. Because he hasn't started this thing in probably 10 years. I asked him, when was the last time you charged it? They give you a charger, okay, that plugs into that. And I talked to my dealer, and my dealer says when you plug in these generators to these chargers, only plug it in once a year for about 12 hours, and that should be enough to keep it going. Now, I'm figuring if you keep it outside, you may want to charge it a little more, but the problem is, where's the battery? All right, where is it? I don't see it. Usually it's right there, okay? Well, the battery is hidden up. Sorry about that. The battery is hidden. Let me see if I can get you there. Up underneath there. It's way up underneath. There you go. So I'm going to show you how to get the battery out, which is fun. That's why I don't really care for these generators, this model anyway, this XG. So let me get you set up in the tripod here, and we will show you the steps that it takes to take off what needs to be taken off in order to access that battery. All right, let me get my tools. I will be right back. Okay, you have to take the gas tank off to get to the battery, which is under here. So the first thing I did was remove these 4 bolts. It's an Allen wrench. You could use a torque that fits in there, same difference. Now I got to take off the gas tank, which is 1/2-inch bolts. 4 of those. And they will fit in if you have an extension. Now, the gas tank has rubber grommets, but it also has steel bushings to keep them from over tightening. Make sure you don't lose those bushings, they're important. So right now, I've got the cover loosened, so I can take the cover off. 4 screws. I can take off this cover. All right. You have the gas tank. So now here's the thing. The gas tank in the front, there's not a lot of room on it. I'll show you. The gas tank slides out, but there's a shutoff valve, and you have to disconnect it in order to pull the tank out. All right, and that shutoff valve, let me get in there with the camera to show you. This shutoff valve here, if you notice, the way it's plumbed, it's got a pretty wonky plumbing arrangement in there. So you have to unplug it so you can pull out the gas tank with the fuel line, and guess what? There's the battery. Okay, so in this case, can I swing it out of the way to access it? I don't think so. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I'm going to try and swing this thing out of the way and see if I can access it by just loosening up the clips that hold it and do it that way. Let me try that. All right. Put you back in here. There's a couple of access clips that hold it in. And if I can get to those access clips, I shouldn't have to take the fuel line off. Although, you know what? Let me show you. The fuel line, basically, it's just really one clip. You can see right here, that one clip right there, that's the one that goes to the fuel tank. So if I just take off that one clip and disconnect it from the valve, I'll have to put a hemostat on it. Then I can take the tank off. It's easier with the tank off. So let me get a hemostat. Let me get a pair of pliers for that, and I'll be right back. All right, I disconnected it the easy way. I took it off of where the fuel filter was that goes to the carburetor. It's easier to get to the clamp. So I'm just gonna take the fuel tank and I'm gonna pull it out. That way I can access that battery a little bit easier. Whichever easiest to get to, whichever clamp is easiest, that's the way you gotta do it. So let me pull this tank off. There's about 1/3 of a tank of fuel in here right now. So I got my hemostat on there. Oh, there's a vent. Oh, forgot the vent. Let me show you the vent, people. Let me show you the vent. See, I always forget something. Let me show you the vent. You got this vent hose, and the vent hose goes down. It goes through the heat shield, and it goes to the air cleaner. So let me take that off. Be careful when you take these off because you could break the plastic elbow. Okay, so now the heat shield is, or the vent is free. Now the tank will be free and I could take the tank off. So you want to disconnect it from the carburetor, then you want to take off the vent. Alright, and here we go. Okay, now that exposes the battery. So, all right. And I asked my dealer, what do I do for a battery? And my dealer sells Interstate. So he sold me an Interstate. It's called an HSL 1069. 12 volt, 9 amp hour, 36 watt per cell battery. So that's what's going back in there. And when you buy these little batteries, they always come with a hardware kit. Install the new hardware, because as you can see, look at the negative terminal. That negative terminal is all rusted out. So it makes sense to install new. So this battery's dead, so it doesn't really mean much. So I'm going to disconnect it and then we'll go from there. All right. Let's disconnect the battery first. Actually, you know what? I'm kneeling here and I don't want to wreck my knees. So I'm going to grab my kneeling pad out of my truck. I always have it handy. I always have a kneeling pad. I got a big one too. 3-inch thick foam so your knees don't get shot. Always got to watch your knees, especially when you get older. Let's see what size that is. Probably 5/16. Actually, I'm gonna have to get deep sockets because the nut's sticking out and a lot of these drivers don't go deep enough for that. So let me stop you for a second, get my sockets, I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Everybody has a favorite set of tools. This is my favorite. It's a 1/4-inch Craftsman socket set. I've had this thing forever. And I tell you, I go everywhere with it. I love it. It's got 1/4-inch drive, but I've done so much with it. It goes up to 1/2 inch, from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Actually, it goes from 3/32 up to 1/2 inch, and I always keep the requisite 10mm socket in there. So in this case, I think it's 5/16. Yep. So let me hook that up to my impact. Hopefully it'll come off. Let's see. I gotta hold the nut. I know it's not the best way to hold it, but that's the way I'm gonna hold it. Because it works. Alright, handy parts tray built in. All right, so there's the positive, and this hardware is still good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this hardware. So you just bend that out of the way. All right, but that negative one, that's the bugger. That is the bugger. All rusted up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on it. Let's see. I may have to get wrenches for that. Let's see what I can do here. Oh no, I got it. All right, but if you notice, this screw is all rusty and everything else, so all right, there's the positive, there's the negative. I'm gonna have to clean off that terminal with a wire brush. Okay, now we have to get the holding clamp out of there. There's the one, and on the other, do I have enough? Let me get another extension. Alright, so there's the bottom screw. Let me take off the top screw, and the battery should come right out. Voila, here's our battery with the screw. And the one that was in there was a COO power, Coup power, and you could look these up. I know they have them sometimes on Amazon for 20 bucks, but you know what, to be honest with you, because this is such a pain to get off, I'd rather put a quality battery in there, not a Chinese battery. So the Interstate battery, even my dealer said, you know, you get what you pay for with batteries. This battery wasn't cheap, it was $65. But like you said, you get what you pay for. So let me get a wire brush, I'll brush off those terminals and we'll hook her up. All right, we're back. Let's wash or get those terminals cleaned up. Here's our battery. Let's wire brush the terminals. The negative was the one that really had the crud on it. Clean. All right, so we're gonna take the battery. We'll put the clip on there. Get the top one started. Bottom one going. The bottom one's going to be more fun. It's hard to reach that one. Sort of working blind on this bottom one. Yeah, that's not fun, working blind. There we go. Get it started. Okay. So put the battery up against its stop. There's actual stops on it. All right. Let's get these tightened up. nice and tight. Take off the protective covers. All right, always positive first. Like I said, this positive terminal is beautiful. No issues with it. And the way they had it done was they had one underneath and one on top. So one underneath, one on top. I think I'm going to get a wrench to tighten that because I don't want to strip it. I'll be right back. Let me grab a couple of small wrenches for that. I'll use ignition wrenches. I like those. All right, we're back. And whenever I can get a chance to use my ignition wrenches, all right, I like using ignition wrenches. They're fun. They're small. They're like toy wrenches, but they're pretty cool. So let's see. I got a 5/16. That's good for the bottom, and I'll use a nut driver on the top with 5/16. So that way you're not over tightening it. People use impacts all the time, and it's great, and I love impacts, but you know what? Sometimes impacts can strip stuff and break stuff, and you really don't want to do that with this. Okay, that's tight. I'm a big fan of dielectric grease, so I'll throw some of that on. Let me just put the negative terminal on there first. Let me get one of the new screws. Now remember, the new screws, like I said, it looks like they're aluminum. They may be stainless, but it almost looks like aluminum. So let me get those. Oh, they give you flat washers and lock washers and all kinds of stuff. All right. This is actually a nylock nut, where this has a lock washer on it. So let me go from the bottom. I'll put the nut in the bottom because that's the way it was. Put the nut in the bottom. Put the negative on top there. We'll put a flat washer, a lock washer, and then the nut. I'm surprised they don't give you nylock nuts. Nylock, you wouldn't need a lock washer. Okay, so get 5/16 wrenches. All right, we're gonna hold the top one. We're gonna tighten the bottom. Like I said, I like working with ignition wrenches. Because they're so small, it sort of helps you not over tighten the screws. And then once we get done with tightening these screws, we're going to put it back together. Okay. All right, those are both on. They're both tight. I'm going to give it a little dab. This screw is going in the trash because it's got a lot of rust on it. So let me give it a little dab. Dielectric. Okay, just a little protection from the moisture. All right, put the boot on that. Okay, now I'm gonna hit the start button right now just to see if she'll start. I'll just do it real quick. Let's see if she's got power. Yep. All right. Let me wipe off my hands and then I will be right back and we'll put the gas tank back on. All right, we're back. Now here's that hole with the plastic grommet. That's where the vent goes. So you have to use that to make sure the vent hose doesn't get all messed up. Just a note on these, just to show you guys the issues with these as well. When you want to work on the carburetor, you have a cover on the top of the carburetor, right? See that plastic cover? The choke is on a cable. So you have to take this sheet metal heat shield off, unscrew it. There's one screw right there that comes from the bottom, and you can bend it up to get to that cover. So to take the carburetor off, you have to take this side panel off, you have to take the gas tank off to get to that choke screw that holds the choke cable. Now, the head mechanic at L&R Power, my favorite place, said what he does on that plastic cover, where the plastic cover the reason you have to take the cable off is because it's inside the cover. He just cuts the top of the cover in the very back, so that way that plastic cover slides in and out. That way he never has to worry about taking off all this stuff to replace a carburetor. He just goes in there probably with a pair of diagonal cutters, cuts the top of that right there on the left-hand side where that cable goes, so he can slide that plastic piece out and access the choke cable with a wrench and then take the carburetor off. Otherwise, you got to do all this. You got to take all this stuff off just to get to it. So that's a quick tip. You can cut right there on the top where that choke cable is, cut right there on the plastic, that piece that sticks up right there, cut it so that you could slide this plastic piece off to the right so you don't have to lift it up and off that way. All right, let me put you back in the tripod. Sorry I'm taking so long. I'm a little bit long-winded today, but I wanted to make sure I showed you everything. All right, let's put this tank back on. So I've got the hemostat and the fuel line all done. So I'm gonna stick the tank just like that. I'm gonna stick this vent hose back in its grommet to protect it. Working a little bit blind. Okay, the vent hose is in the grommet. So now I'm gonna slide this tank on, making sure I let the fuel hose fall down where it's supposed to go. I line up the holes in the top of the cover with the tapped holes in the side pieces. All right, that's lined up. All right, so now that it's lined up, I can put the 4 screws back in the gas tank. Start them at least with my hands. There's 1. There's 2. Oh, there's 3. 1 more left. 4. All right, like I said, those are 1/2-inch screws. I'm going to hook up the vent line. Remember, when you're hooking up this vent line, make sure you're very careful when you plug it into the fitting, because you don't want to snap off that plastic fitting. That would not be fun. Okay, that's all done. Let me tighten the gas tank down. Again, it's 1/2-inch nuts on there, or 1/2-inch screws. There we go. One. Like I said, there's a bushing underneath there to keep it from collapsing. Make sure that's still there. You have to lift the handle to access it. Alright, that's number 3. Oop. And the last one, number 4. Alright, gas tank is on. Alright. Now the only thing left to do is put the side cover back on. They're Allen screws, but a Torx works just as well. It fits actually pretty good as well. So let me go and do that. Let me see if I got you in frame here. All right. You have 4 plastic spacers, and behind the plastic spacers are threaded holes. Make sure you don't lose these spacers or else the panel will crush. You have to make sure the spacers are there. So I start with the top screws. Make sure the panels are touching the way they're supposed to touch. This panel goes underneath the fuel tank, not on top. It goes underneath. So start your screws. And then we'll finish them off. And guys, basically that's it. The battery is installed. We know it cranks. Now, let's see if she'll start up. I had this thing running last week. Oh, we gotta hook up the fuel, I'm sorry. We missed the fuel line. Let's get our pair of pliers and hook up that fuel line. We disconnected it from the, oh, you know what we gotta do? We also have to put the fuel switch in. So let's hook it up first. All right, let me get in here. All right, we're gonna hook this up first. All right, and we're gonna put the clamp back. Easier with pliers. Okay, now we have to put the shutoff valve back where it goes. It's got a cutout for it, and we've got to do it the right way to make sure it goes in proper. Where is it? There it is. Get you back here. And if you notice on the bottom, there is a slot. You put the fuel shutoff switch pointing straight down, stick it in, and then turn it. Let me show you. This is the fun part of this job. All right, the curved part of the fuel line goes to the right, and that will line up the switch so that's pointing straight up and down. All right, there you go. So the switch is pointing straight up and down, and it should snap right in. All right, so now you have off and on. Actually, that's off, on. On points to the gas pump, off points to there. Now, when this guy took off this switch, there's tabs in the back of there that clicks onto the fuel shutoff. I put a new shutoff on, but he had it dangling when I saw him a few months ago. So I put a new fuel shutoff on, but this piece here really should be replaced. There's tabs in the back, so when you pull that switch in, it tabs with like a pull tab. It actually fastens it with the tabs, okay, like a press fit, and a snap fit, I should say, snap fit. It'll work. I mean, you go, but see how right now, if he wants to, in the bottom position, he can actually push that switch back in. So I just have to let him know about that. That fuel is on. That fuel is off, but if you notice, the tabs in the back for the snap fit are busted off. He busted them off pushing that switch in. So we really should replace that piece. I'm gonna see if I can get one of those pieces. It'll be easy enough to do. I'll just stop by his house and do it. He lives close. All right, I got the fuel on. Oil's there. Everything is hooked up, ready to go. Let's see how she runs. She has fuel, everything's there. It's in the on position. Choke it out. Let's see. runs great. All right, shut the fuel off. It is running good. His hour meter actually works. It actually says change oil now. So I'm going to see, I think if you just hold it, it resets the oil. Let's see. Nope, it says change oil now. I'm going to read the manual and see how to change that so it doesn't keep saying change the oil. But like I said, it's running good. It's a nice generator. He'll be happy with it. Now I got to write up the receipt for him and see what I'm going to charge him. I changed the oil. I changed the filter. I rebuilt the carburetor, got all the crusties out of it, and I changed the battery for him. So I think it's a win-win for him and I. Let me go price this thing out, and we'll go from there. And maybe what I'll do is I'll grab my kilowatt meter and I'll show you the watts on this thing. All right, I'll be back. All right. All right, guys, this thing has 36 hours on it. I found out how to change the oil change light, okay? Basically, you scroll with this button to the message you want to reset. I already reset it, so I'll show you what it shows now. But basically, you click on it, and if you notice, it says oil in 100 hours, okay? It said before, change oil. So if that was the message I wanted, say it said change oil, CHG, change oil, I would hold down that button for 9 seconds with the oil change message coming up. After 9 seconds, it resets, and now you get this message, oil in 100 hours. And it'll tell you after running 100 hours, boom. Now this only had 36 hours on it, but the oil was kind of nasty because it's old. So now we're gonna go back and we're gonna hit it twice. All right, it's back to the 36 hours, and that's where it'll stay. It'll tell you roughly, once it says change, it said it'll be on for 5 hours. That message will be on for 5 hours. So it gives you 5 hours to change it before it resets it. All right, so let me put you back in the stand. I brought out my kilowatt meter. We're gonna start her up and see what she's drawing or pulling or putting out, and we'll go from there. All right. Okay. Let's see. So I've got my kilowatt meter that I love so much, and in fact, on my 2K giveaway on my Christmas stream, I'm doing my 2K giveaway. Watch my videos to see how to enter. I'm giving one of these away. So, but you got to be a subscriber, and you have to watch my videos to know how to enter. So we'll plug that in. We'll plug in the kilowatt meter, and then I have a load, which is a heat gun at 1500 watts. I'll plug that in. Okay, let's start her up. Choke on. Oh, I got the fuel off. Yeah, that would be nice if I turned the fuel on, wouldn't it? That would be nice if I turned the fuel on. Rookie mistakes, we all make them. We all make the rookie mistakes. Let the fuel get in there. All right, rookie, what a rookie mistake. We all do it. You want to see the goofs? There's a goof. All right, let's start her up. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Something ain't right. Why is it dying on me? Should have plenty of fuel in it. Yeah, I could add a little more. But that's not right. We just had it running. It was running good. I'll be right back. Guys, you are going to see one of the biggest rookie mistakes I've ever made. Can you guess what was happening? It was running out of fuel. I took off the fuel line here. I was going to change the fuel filter, figuring it was a bad fuel filter. Can you guess what the problem was? I'm sure a lot of you can, and a lot of you are probably screaming at the camera saying, Kenny! Because what Kenny forgot to do was remove the hemostat. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. So alright, the hemostat is off. Now we'll have fuel. Oh, I'm a rookie sometimes. Sometimes you do stupid things. All right, let me button this thing back up, and then we'll be back, and we'll hook up the hour meter and watt meter and all that, and we'll be back. But hey, I'm a rookie. Sometimes it's one of these when you're a rookie. All right, I'll be back. The fuel filter was original and kind of nasty, so I did change that too. They're fairly inexpensive, so I just threw that in. All right, so now, hopefully, with the hemostat removed, rookie mistake, she should be able to start and run and yada yada yada. So let's make sure we got all the outlets on. Wow, I don't like this outlet. It's cracked up here. I don't like that. Definitely don't like that. I'll have to show him that. So it must have been when he was using it, he forced it out. Alright, so let me plug this in. Let's try it again. So everything is running good. The frequency was good, everything is good. So the only thing I see is this crack in the top of this outlet, and that's been there a while. It's pretty dirty inside the crack, so it's been there. I will tell him about it. I will see if I can order one of those and get it going, but I would tell him in the meantime, if he's plugging stuff in, I wouldn't plug into that top outlet. I mean, it'll work, it's just cracked, and I don't know how safe that is, you know. But these are GFI, they're protected, so everything's working fine. All right, guys, just goes to show you, rookie mistakes. I make them too. I had a hemostat plugging off the fuel line when I took it off. I forgot to hook it back up. Rookie. It happens to the best of us. All right, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm giving you soup to nuts, guys. I gave you the thumbs up and I gave you the thumbs down. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. I messed up and kept the hemostat on and I ran out of fuel. So, hey, live and learn. All right, guys, we will talk to you soon. Don't forget to catch my Christmas live stream on Saturday, the 18th of December at 11:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 UK time. There will be prizes. You have to go to my last couple of videos to see my last few live streams. It'll tell you how to enter. All right, guys, do you have to be a subscriber to enter? Please subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, Kenny here, Ken Small Engines. I hope you enjoyed that video on the Generac. You know, rookie mistake. Hey, we all do it. But now I want to talk about safety for a minute. This generator weighs a few pounds. It's probably 400 plus pounds, so it's a heavy generator. And I don't know about you, but my pickup has a pretty high bed in it, and if I wanted to push those up the ramp to get into my pickup, that wouldn't be fun. So what I do, let me show you. Let me change the camera. Hold on one second. I have a hill on the side of my yard, so I take advantage of that hill. So if you look at my ramps, they're almost straight across. So now I'm gonna take that generator, I'm gonna push it up into the truck, and I'm done. Where I'm bringing it, he's got a slight hill in his yard too, so I'm not gonna be dragging it down the ramps at a very extreme angle. Let Mother Nature help you load and unload. If you can, find areas where you could get the most horizontal position for your ramps. You don't want them like that. You want them fairly straight if you can do it. So I do take advantage of my hill with tractors and anything else I got to put in the back of my bed. Coming off the truck, gravity, not as hard. You can always stop it, but trying to push it up, especially when your ramps are like this, that's not any fun. So I'm going to push it up there. I'll put it in the stand. I'll show you guys. Because safety is important. Too many of us, we get hurt doing simple things, and it's not good. So I'm gonna put this in the bed, and let me see if I can get a better shot for you. All right, that should be good. All righty. A lot easier to do it this way, guys. A lot easier. And always remember your safety straps. Make sure they're on. You don't want this thing kicking out on you when you're backing off. Okay. So now that it's in the bed, I can turn it. These things like to tip over, so always put them sideways. And I also use wheel chocks to make sure they're not going to go anywhere. So remember, ramps, your safety straps, wheel chocks, make it safe, guys. All right, that's it for now. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.